pretty cool. I'll move this up to the best you can do here. It stays a little better right there to get more view of my room. Show you this really nice jacket. It's really a nice little jacket made by Wilson's house, leather experts in the House of Suede. But this is not. It's like buckskin. It's very light, very nice. Talk to people about this jacket. Some people say, people know these things. Say it's a nice leather jacket like this, full length, got a hood. Say that something like this usually runs about $400 to $600. You know. I mean, I really like it. It's a great jacket. It was a giveaway. Somebody put it there with a sign that says "Free, take me," along with a couple of other jackets. So I took this one and gave the other people who need it. But besides that, it's not just a fashion, it's functional. It keeps you warm. I like it. Now I gotta go see about getting those bags for my open body. Hopefully, at least I have two. Go right to my doctor again, Dr. Dave. Yeah, that'll be good. Putting these things up a lot now. Talking during my therapist. This is good. It seems to be helping you, you know. So, good to see him again Thursday. It's double meeting week, which is great. I need it after all the shit with my family. I don't have a family. All the love I felt for them was that. It was my love inside me. I thought I was feeling their love for me or our love. It wasn't. It was my love for them. When I was 3 years old, my sister was going to school and that. My Uncle Ob Oppenheimer used to drop by during the day, and he'd buy me ice cream, put me out on the porch, and say, and then he'd go and visit with my mother. One day my father asked me, the mark on the sidewalk where I get the ice cream. So Uncle Ob bought it for me. He came over while my father had a fit. And he went over and said, "Loopy, you know, it's Ob over here." Loopy's like, no. And he said, well, he said, the boy, he called me, the boy said, you know, and he said, well, he's making things up, and he imagines things like that. And he said, and I said, no, I kept telling him the truth. It was the truth. And then he said, well, I'm going to get the truth out of this. One of you two is lying. So he started beating on me because he doesn't touch a woman just right. You know, he was raised with don't hit a woman on that shit. And it's a good thing too, but he just wailed on me for about 4 hours. So I finally lied and said, yeah, I didn't. Uncle Ob didn't come over, but he did. But when I did that, I began to distrust. Because all the time my father was beating my mother was sitting there just looking. And I was knowing she knew the truth and she could stop this and say something. So after I said I was lying, Uncle Ob didn't come over, my father left me in the bedroom and said I couldn't eat dinner. And my mother came in and said, well, you see what you get for lying. And I wasn't lying. But she used that ever since then. Well, you know, Michael, he's such a liar. He makes things up. But Uncle Ob came over. But I don't know what happened to us. They didn't drop by much after that. I didn't say anything wrong. I'm just telling you what happened. Uncle Ob came over to visit. But like Loopy said, there's things she'll take with her to the grave. Nobody will ever know. Yeah, except me. My memory's coming back better and better. She really didn't have to. I mean, it takes a lot of force to try to make somebody, not remember something. You know, Ron and Robert and I were going to build a little Shangri-La there in Pahrump. They had about $38,000 saved. When I told them I had 1.25 acres, they said, we're going to build a nice little place out there. And then they arrived, my mother decided she didn't want to do that. She changed her mind. She was going to give them this empty piece of property. Well, they couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford it. So I talked to Ron and Robert, and my mother was always trying to get in the way, telling us where she wants a house on that property where she thought it would be good. It's like, look, you're not involved with us. You're not in this. No girls allowed. It's a boys' club, you know. And she just couldn't stand it. But like Ron and Robert said, you'll never get that property, Michael. She's just going to hold it over you and make you keep coming back for it. And then, just like she did, just change your mind like that. Because Ron had come up about a month before to see if I really had property, and if I really owned it. Me and Ron came up here. We stayed at the El Cortez Hotel for 3 days. He had to come out and see, because he's smart, he's intelligent, he doesn't want to be taken for, move out in the desert, there's no property out there. So he came and looked and it was great. And Loopy could have said something then, but she waited. You know, even the day before they were calling, they were driving up there. It was all stormy, and they were coming up through the Baker Pass. You know, and just the day they came the next day after they got situated in a hotel. She just stood on the corner on the thing and said, "I changed my mind." Then she went and tried to convince Robert Gatos that it was my fault that she changed her mind. No shit. And then Robert said, "You know, your mother hates you." And it was shocking to me, but you know, even Nacho, Mr. Moreno next door, told me that my mother hates me. She poisoned his trees. He knows that now. The reason they were knocking over the mailbox, she stole 2 bricks from this guy named Big Al down the street. He had a pallet full of bricks in his backyard. He didn't have a fence, but he had a sign up there saying, "Not for free." You know, and even once he had a sign saying "Not for sale," because people were always asking that. And so Loopy stops and says, "Oh, maybe that means they're free. Why don't you go out and get a few?" And like, well, Loopy, go to the front door and ask him. She didn't. She drove on, but she went and decided, well, I'm just going to take a few bricks, and Al won't mind. Well, Al followed her. And he said, "That's going to be the most expensive brick, 2 bricks you ever got, lady." Because he just made a point and told everybody else, just run over their mailbox. You know, that's $19 a mailbox. So they just ended up buying a slot there. And then they found out that Loopy lived in that. And we found out where Loopy lived, over in the new housing tract. And he started running over there, knocking over her house, her lights and everything like that. And they started leaving me alone over there, where I was living over there. It was terrible. But I think Loopy thought I would say that she sold it. I knew she sold it and she moved in with my brother. And I was supposed to know this. When I said that to my brother, I know Loopy sold them my property. And I know, the property my father left me. He left us all some money when he did his ritual to make sure he could leave us something, so he managed to pass away just 3 months before his insurance ran out, because he knew nobody was going to give him insurance with his heart like it was. He was already working for Jack, and Jack was going out of business because he had so many lawsuits. He was a pesticide. He told me, "This is my last year, I'm going out of business." He said, "It's just part of the game, Mike, paying lawsuits off. This insurance, I forget how much he paid, but he paid a lot." He even had his son steal stuff from his boat. Everything he had was insured. Whenever he wanted a new Sonic fish fighter, he just tells one of his friends, "Here's the keys to the dock. Have one of your friends go over there and take it. And you can take it and sell it. And I'll even pay $100, and that way I'll get it," because he's fully insured for the next model that comes along. So Jack, he made the insurance really pay off. Paid a lot of insurance money. Well, that's it for now. It's only about 10 minutes. Wow, 10 minutes takes a long time talking. I talk fast. I hope I learn to speak more slowly and measured. Talk about these things. But it's just all going on YouTube. Yeah, it is. It's good. Like Jeremy, the therapist said, this is good for you. Like, you gotta get it out there. And yeah, I'm like, say, well, what happened in the past? Yeah, I still pay for that all my life. My whole family, which is what Michael lied. Shit, she would even do when my father would come home angry. She said, "You know what Michael did? I didn't do nothing." But it didn't matter. When I was labeled a liar, I couldn't say shit. So he just said like that, pointing a finger at me, like, "Boy, you're running weight." I had to go and wait for me to do this. And he figured it out eventually. He figured out that I could speak Spanish when there's my mother and her sisters were at the table talking about him in Spanish, being rude and insulting to him. My grandma taught me to speak Spanish, but don't tell anybody because I want you to be able to know when they're plotting against you when you're speaking. And it really worked. My mother, Lupe, couldn't hardly believe I spoke Spanish because I couldn't roll my R's, right? But I think it was my Aunt Amelia. I laughed when they said some joke in Spanish. And she said, "Oh, he understands us." Like, no, he doesn't. He can't speak. And like, they found out, yeah, I did. And that's when my mother started learning, make him stop speaking Spanish. My father threatened to beat me and lock me if I ever spoke Spanish. But it was under my mother's orders. Because I could hear, I could understand what they're saying about Bernie and who's the father of the children and all that shit. Sick ass person, making me pay for her inability to control herself. Oh well, that's it for now. But yeah, I'm getting into something. I won't talk about this much anymore because it's done. So there's a record. I talked to my sister. She says, "I don't want to talk to you when you're drunk or high. You always want to talk about mom and dad." Well, not much anymore because I'm talking about it publicly, getting it out there. Don't give a shit. People want to say, "Oh, he's violent." Well, fuck you. I know what happened. And someday, when we stand before the throne, and we all will. Sinners and saints, everybody stands there. And everybody knows. Everybody gets to see your whole life. Everything you've done, how you felt when you were doing it, what your real intention of doing it was, not what you meant to do. Really, we get to live it from inside of us, each other. It's going to be pretty fun. We all have to pass through the fire. You know, behold, every man passes through the fire. Whether it's wood, hay, and stubble, gold, silver, and precious jewels, every man's work is tried by the fire. And he may suffer loss, but he will be saved. You know, so I know I suffer loss. I have to suffer some loss. But like Jesus says, it's better to get it done on this side than in heaven. Because when you get to heaven, the price is much higher. You have to stay there and pay every penny. And that can be a long time. You have to sit in a little bit of darkness. You know, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Okay, bye now. Hey, I'll just give a nice hello to KJ Lawler. He's the only one who responds to my writing so much. Really appreciate it, KJ. Hope you put something up. Movie on here like I'm doing. Alright, bye.